in the middle now, middle of sesshin, the very best part. Like the middle of a cinnamon roll. For me, I like the middle of that. Sat a lot, um, and whatever we brought to sesshin, that's so far away we totally forgot about it, and it's a little early to start planning after session. So to just be here, just be here, just try it, just try it. You'll like it. Just be here. Um, Easier said than done, of course, because the mind is a wild animal um, that we get to tame with zazen. So I wanted to talk, even though I'm not sitting a lot. I'm doing other stuff, um, and I don't recommend the person who speaks not doing zazen, not doing session, not doing that intense zazen. Um, but I wanted to talk because I came up with these talks at Denali, and I want to get them done with. I already talked about, think about suffering or the end of suffering, that, of course, from the Buddhist standpoint, the end of suffering is to realize no self. When you realize you don't exist, then who is there to suffer? Where is the suffering? And and that sounds conceptual maybe, but it's not conceptual. This is the direct experience of the Buddha. That's what Buddha found out. And each of us can find that out. Oh, there's nothing to worry about. Like I said, being in this moment, all there is this, the rain and the traffic and this. Um, but I talked about there's another way to end suffering too that we shouldn't forget, which is feed hungry people and do self-care and uh, stop throwing rocks at each other and cultivate loving kindness. So there's the suffering we can't do anything about, realize there's no one to suffer. And the suffering we can do something about, do it. So that was the first talk. And then the second one was about what, I think I wrote it down. I forgot what it is. Oh, it's about that um, the head monk and the old Roshi. And the Roshi goes off traipsing through the woods, and the head monk is like, "But we're supposed to do zazen. What are you doing rambling around?" And it comes to the rambling around is really about our life, which is rambling about has its positives and negatives, like Denali, uh, Teklanika, I think is how you're supposed to say that. The river runs through Denali, and I just happened. How does how does YouTube know everything about you? That's what I want to know. But anyway, just was on YouTube, and they had the story of that man who was rambling through the forest and discovered what a wonderful life it is not to worry about possessions and family and all of those things, and just to ramble through the woods and, feed yourself, eat squirrels and berries. And he got caught by that Teclanica River and starved to death. So that can happen when you're rambling around in the woods. You can starve to death. The river, the glaciers melt, and all of a sudden you're stuck there. So the point of the rambling around was, this is our life. And how do we live our life? So it ties in with that suffering stuff, is from the standpoint of emptiness. So the two things Soto School says are the most important in the Constitution in the Soto School is, one is emptiness, no self, realize who you are, what you are, and calm down that ego a little bit for the sake of yourself and others. And the other is the precept, how to live with the karma, the ego person that we have, empty as it is, it suffers. And how can we do better? How can we have better relationships and a better life? And the precepts are, like I said, little guideposts. They're not rules, because any rule you hang on to will cause suffering. It's just the guideline of doing the right thing in every moment. Every moment, there's so many things, variables, as we scientists say. And every moment is completely unique. There's never been a moment like this right now, ever, in all the multiple eons, kalpas, before to come. There's never been a moment like this. So the right action in this moment, it has to come from the precepts, from our sense of right action. So, um, and then I kind of talked about it yesterday, talking about don't be deluded, which is kind of the theme of session. Don't be deluded. And yesterday I said, I hope this isn't going to be a long talk, because I got this whole talk around it, and I decided not to do that. It just came to me. I decided not to do that to you. But what came to me was about transforming. And the reason was because reading the precepts, it's funny how you read things and you never heard it before. But the don't be angry, it says transform suffering into wisdom. Uh, and that made me think about, um, well, like we say in the four vows, we say, delusion is inexhaustible. We vow to transform. Delusion, not seeing things as they are, seeing things as separate, seeing myself as separate and special. Either I'm better or I'm worse than everybody. That's delusion. Delusion is separation. And in terms of the five families, that's the white family. Each of the five families are the five aspects of awakening, and each aspect has its other side, its twisted side. So that vow, I vow to transform all delusions. Delusion transforms into openness, awaken, spaciousness, no self. Delusion transforms into no self. So it's not exactly I need to kill delusion. I just need to transform it. So in the same way, greed transforms into compassion, and anger transforms into wisdom, and fear, paranoia, jealousy transforms into action for others. And lust, possessiveness transforms into compassion. That's I'm going to do that workshop on the five families again soon, I think, because the Sangha Sutra has just come out, and the Sangha Sutra really comes out of the five families in some ways. Parts of it come out, so I want to talk about that in terms of the Sangha Sutra. Um, so so these two aspects, and during session, we're really focusing on this experience of no self, focusing how by doing a lot of Seisen, um, our, our made up self, um, is very strong, and it's in our DNA, it's biological, it's very strong. So to break through our ideas and concepts, to um, I don't think it's rising above our biology. I think it's seeing through that we're more than our this physical body, everything. Um, and the, the head monk and the old Roshi, I see most people see the head monk as um, kind of the less wise. And I really see that. I see that they resent, um, hate for it not to be recorded. um, and also we've got these rules. We I don't know if it's rules. We have a container. There's a container for this kind of practice, which that head monk represents. You uh, G.A. Cole, I don't know, maybe Kiyosha remembers G.A., but her first session was with Aiken Roshi. I think it's okay to tell her story. And she would hallucinate when she looked at the floor, and I think it was a rug, and it would like get all swirly and stuff and hallucinate. And she was hallucinating, and she found it very disturbing. It was, it's her first session. It was very disturbing. And she's talking to Aiken Roshi, this sweetest, dearest man in the world. And he was so sympathetic and so understand. And she said, I could just sleep in one morning. I think I'd do much better. And said, no. No. Uh, so that's what we have. We have this container. Who wants to get up? Just let me sleep a little bit more and keep coming back to the Zendo. Oh no. I just want to walk in the woods for a little while. Um, so that's what the head mountain represents. Um, the container in our practice, our formal practice, which is what makes us Zen. Uh, Zen means meditation. It's why we're Zen. We do that. And then the other side, our life as it is perfect, whole, complete. The old Roshi side. Each moment as it is. And it can be wonderful. It can be very difficult. As it is, it's perfect. Nothing. We don't need to do anything except the precepts. Just the precepts. So that's how I see that koan. It's not saying that formal practice isn't essential. It's just talking about the other side too. Um, so anyway, what I wanted to tell you, I guess this will be another short talk. My last Denali talk is kind of silly. I warn you now. But it really hit me. So Denali is huge. I can't remember how big. It's huge. It's a national. I think it's the biggest national park, and a lot of people just go to the ranger station and the campground that's there, and there's a museum that's got big stuffed bears in it, and just full of people, and not people, RVs, and people don't have little RVs. Anyway, it's like people who go to Yosemite and just go to the valley, uh, thinking that that's what Denali is. Then I see people say, oh, I hated Denali. It was so crowded and noisy and touristy and expensive. But where I went is you can um, go to a campground, Teklonica, right by that river, which is 40 miles into the wilderness. And you get a special permit because you're not allowed to drive there. So there's just um, buses go there and take people into the wilderness. But you can drive there and live there in the wilderness. But it's not like that poor man, bless his heart, um, who died in the bus, because there's a camp host and I think they've got walkie-talkies or something. Maybe not, but at least they have big cars. They can take you in. So it's a very, very safe way to be deep in the wilderness. And like I said, it's huge. And there's it's a small campground. It's a little teeny campground. And at night, everybody's gone. It's just that sense of bigness. And it's so peaceful and wonderful to just be there. I mean, I was there for a week, and then I extended my trip for 2 more weeks because I loved it so much. And what did I do there? Nothing. I just sat and, took the dogs for walks. Uh, but there's a mountain there. There's a mountain in Denali, which is huge and amazing, the most beautiful mountain. And it's usually obscured by clouds because it's so big. And so seeing Denali is like the thing everybody talks about. Did you see Denali? I saw Denali this morning. And and you couldn't see it from the campground. So you had to go on the bus, which was like an hour trip to maybe see Denali. And I did see Denali. I went on a helicopter because I decided I want to get it over with. I want to see Denali and be done with it. And so I went on this helicopter and saw it was very cloudy, but this uh, helicopter pilot, she was just amazing. She drove us right in there so we could see the top. It was amazing. So okay, I saw Denali, and it was amazing. It was the best thing. It was worth driving a month and doing everything to see the top of Denali. And then on the bus, and then I started thinking, I still want to see, I want to see it again. I want to see Denali again. So on the bus, I saw the bottom. The top was covered in clouds, but I just saw the bottom. And that was great. Saw it on the bus. And then I just wanted to see it again. And I told the camp host, gosh, I had seen Denali twice and I just want to see it again. And he said, oh yeah, you always just want to see Denali. And it made me think of enlightenment, which I'm sure you got the comparison. We said so hard. And that's the stuff, the ground, the heart and being sitting together in the heart. That's the joy of sessing. And then there is that moment of clarity is just the best, just the best. It's worth it. It's worth getting the time off and getting food together and leg pain, and it's worth it. It's just the best. And then we want to have that again. And that's good. Good. If that's the upaya, that's what um, inspires us to keep on sitting is um, that those moments of awakening and clarity. And just like when I talked about delusion and working with delusion and going into that deep, dark place of our pain and our fear. Um, and there's a reward there, the same reward, and then that reward disappears. And then there we are again, back in that pit again. So it's the nature of our practice that every once in a while we have that clarity of no self, and it's clear. There is no suffering in that moment, and it's clear how that works. And every once in a while we tumble down into that trench again and have hopelessness or fear again. And then we're back to the Zendo. So the Zendo is the kind of heartbeat. And our practice takes us to all these different places. And I saw Denali once more. When I drove out, there was a spot, and I didn't see the top, but it got a pretty good view. And that was like, I did that because I drove there. And there was a couple there too, and we were going, is that it? I'm pretty sure that's it. So anyway, that's my last Denali talk. It's always there. The clouds just have to part so you can see it. And I just really, really encourage you to stay with it because it's so worth it. Um, and we're so easily distracted by shiny things. Um, and to keep coming back, keep coming back. So it's the middle now, the best part. I just really encourage you to um, stay with it and don't give up. That's where we have faith, doubt, determination, strong faith. Buddha did it. Not that many people have done it, but the ancestors have done it. At least 1,000 have done it. Um, and none of them were special, excepting they stuck with it. That's the special thing. They stuck with it. And the doubt is if that's true, if it's true, there's no suffering, there's no self, this true self. If that's true, why don't I see it? So whatever your question is, sit with that. Why don't I see it? What is it? What is my life? What am I doing here? What is Buddha talking about? What is Seisen talking about? Um, and then determination is stick with it and just follow the schedule. Just have the faith, just follow the schedule. So I appreciate all of your practice. And when I started when I was sitting with the first koan, I was working with Bernie quite a bit then, but then the interviews were really short. No chit chat. There was not chit chat in my day. We didn't have chit chat. But I would go into Bernie and present whatever I thought Moo was, and he would go, no, that's wrong, ring the bell. But he always said, keep on going, Seisen, keep on going. And I have this little Bernie in me now that's just always going, just keep on going. So I transmit that to you. Just keep on going.